Okay, so Sai, welcome to JC Academy once again. And since you've been one of the top scorers for IBPS SO marketing exam, so there's a lot we have to discuss. So we'll
Sure,
start with
sir.
the introduction first. And please do tell us about your education background, your family background, and where you come from, and then we'll take it further. Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm originally from Andhra Pradesh. I finished my MBA with a specialization in marketing from IIM Indore, post which I worked for a couple of years in an ad tech firm in sales and ad operations roles. And I'm currently working as a senior marketing consultant in a crypto and blockchain-based firm. My father is a private employee and my mother is a homemaker. And sir, this was my first attempt at IBPS SO, and I'm glad to have cracked it with such a good score.
So, what made you shift your focus from your current profile towards this exam?
Sir, actually, I'd taken a career break in February, and by the time I was back in the job market and was looking for new opportunities, I came across IBPS SO notification actually. I thought it was something that I wanted to explore because marketing was something that I've been doing for quite some time by then. And it looked like a lucrative opportunity, not to mention all the perks and benefits of working for a public sector bank. So that was what it said.
Okay, so once you're aware of this opportunity, so you must have decided to, pursue this. Now, if you can just also tell us about your education background, so that will give us some perspective as well.
Yes, sir. I've done an MBA with a specialization in marketing from IIM Indore, as I said. And prior to that, I had done my bachelor's in petroleum engineering from Indian Institute of Petroleum and Energy, Visakhapatnam. So I, so as somebody who has a strong academic background in marketing, this seemed like an interesting opportunity for me to take up. And not to mention, I'm an engineer, so I, I had to clear CAT to get into an IIM. So I did have that quant reasoning background as well. So that this was a career path that was not pretty new to me. And I thought I could do well and contribute well in this, banking on my previous experiences and background. So this was the reason I took this up, sir.
So the general perception for students coming from the IIMs is that they generally take up private jobs or they generally get into startups. And you seem
Yes,
to
sir.
have, been going against the tide. So how difficult for it was to convince maybe your parents and the interview panel members as to why you want to go towards this sector and this job, because this
Sir,
is a PhD job. It has
uh,
there
yeah,
there
yeah.
there is a threshold at every level, so you don't get rewarded proportionately, or you don't get out of the way promotions generally don't get to happen. So how did you convince people on this?
Sir, convincing started with myself, to be honest. I had to remain clear in the first place as to why I was doing this, just so there were no regrets or any half-hearted measures with regards to the preparation. So I was so first I'll talk about my parents. They were like, "Why do you want to do this? You could get easily paid higher doing anything in a private sector, right? Why do you want to choose this?" So I was like, "See, I'm still young, right? If I prioritize money over learnings or exposure, that would not go well in my long-term career trajectory." So I thought, why not take this opportunity? It might be paying less, but I believe that the exposure, the grassroots level that exposure that I would get working for public sector bank would be something very lucrative for me going forward in my career. Not to mention the job security. That was one of the key factors that was I was able to use to convince my parents specifically that see the kind of job security that I could be getting here might not be uh, up to what I would expect in a private sector, right? So in a long term, it would only benefit me over anything else. So convincing parents was the easier part. In the interview, it was difficult. You had you had predicted it already in one of the mock interviews, yeah, that you took for me that I would be grilled on this fact. They actually grilled me pretty much on this. Like, why do you want to do this? They want to check if I would be able to sustain in this role for long, or if this was just a backup for me or something to bounce off of. So I was able to convince them by saying that, see, these are my reasons for doing this. I have the clarity for doing this. Otherwise, I would have easily gone for any private job, as you said. But I have that clarity why I want to do this. So I'm sure I would be able to do well here. And I would be able to leverage my experience and background to do well here. So why not do this? So there are many good reasons for me to be able to do this. So it's a no-brainer for me. So they got convinced, and hence the good score, sir.
Mhm. So, given the academic background that you come from, I will not be discussing your initiatives or study plans or the way you basically navigated through preparing for the pre-exams. We'll directly come on to your preparations for the mains examination, right? Now, since you come from a marketing background, you have done your MBA with the INIM, so I think marketing also would have been your forte. But cracking a examination like IBPS needs a certain kind of a focus because there is only a specific direction in which you're supposed to move. So how did you keep
Yes,
track
sir.
of that your preparation and you are going in the right direction when it comes to this particular exam? Having knowledge is one part and utilizing it to crack an exam is altogether different ball game. So how did you juggle through it and how did you navigate?
Sir, I'll lay out my entire preparation journey for you. So, I started my preparation for mains only after I was convinced that I would clear the prelims.
Okay.
I think you were the one who gave the analysis for prelims in the Telegram channel or something. I watched your video also, so I was sure that I would clear prelims. Right around the first week of September, I purchased your course. I used to attend your live and recorded lectures as per my convenience. And I was also working parallelly, so I did have that in the back of my mind. I did have that obstruction there. But I made sure I was consistent in my preparation. And no matter how much you study, no matter how many lectures you attend, it is ultimately the marks that uh, give you the story, how well you have done. So once I'd prepared, once I'd given 20, 30 days to my preparation, I started going ahead and giving mocks. Uh, so initially I was not scoring that high in the mocks. I understood what were my areas of strength and what were my areas of weaknesses. I did that analysis. I divided the entire mock into three sections basically. The questions that I should have answered and I did answer, the questions that I should have answered but could not answer, and the questions that I did not even know in the first place. So I divided the mock questions into these three. The analysis helped me reinforce my learnings basically, understand where I was falling behind and work on those areas. And by the time, so I'd given 10 challenger mocks of yours. Uh, right from starting in October, I had given 10 challenger mocks of yours. And by the time I finished your mocks and moved to other platform mocks, right, I found that I built that speed basically because your mocks were much difficult in the exam level. So that in a way helped me build that speed, build that foundational concept clarity basically. And by the time I'd moved to other mocks, I was saving around 10 to 15 minutes in every mock that I gave. That helped me revisit the questions that I'd already given, see what I'd see what I'd done, what I did not, and all sorts of analysis within the exam itself. And after the exam, I was anyway doing that analysis. So to put that into perspective, only 20% of my preparation actually happened through learnings, studying, and all that. 80% of my actual preparation happened through mocks because I kind of understood the my areas of weaknesses, the my areas that required reinforcement and my attention. So that was there, and I had to also mention the fact that I was working parallelly, so it was not easy. I had to set boundaries for certain things. I had to make sure I was prioritizing what was important and what was not, and that was also an enriching and a learning experience in itself when you do that. So yes, sir. So far, it did go well. So that's about it.
So generally students who have dilly-dallied and somehow crossed their MBA will basically be needing a book and an understanding of the subject. And this is where value addition
Yes, sir.
starts. But in your in your context and in your case, the thing was the other way around because you already had that richness in your understanding of the subject. So all you wanted was to add value to your understanding of how the subject is going to be utilized for a specific examination. And you were apt in saying that mocks add most value in your case because it is only through mocks where you will come to know what is the direction in which you need to move further and you will get the taste of the exact examination scenario as well. So how many questions you attempted in the everybody would be keen to understand, because I think your total score was 87 if I'm not wrong.
87.47, sir, out of
87
100.
points. So how many questions did you attempt in the mains examination, and how much did they convert into out of 80? I would like to understand this.
Sir, I scored 53.75 out of 16 mains. So I
Okay.
attempted all the 60 questions. I did commit a few minor mistakes. Otherwise, I would have scored over 55 is what I believe. 53.75 translates to 71 when converted into 80 to 20. 71 plus 16 in interview, I scored 87.
You scored almost 80 out of 100 in interview as well.
Yeah, 80 out of 100, yes, yes.
So once you're out of the examination hall after writing the examination, what was the first thought? You just quickly moved around and thought that I'll start preparing for the interviews, or you were like, let's wait for the results and then let's think about it.
I thought I will wait for the results, honestly, because the kind of rumors that were going around, the kind of answer key that was being circulated in the groups, right? According to that, I was scoring around 40, 43 marks. So I was like, I would not get anything in 40, 43. So I might as well wait for the results. Uh, thankfully, thankfully, that did not turn out that way, and I ended up scoring much higher than that. And yes, sir, honestly, I was uh, I was never the one who had a consistent preparation for interview. I'll be very honest here. I started only after the results came out, uh, and then I basically brushed up my basics. Understood. Interview basically has to do a lot with learning or knowing about yourself. So I focused on that part. I tried to be as natural as possible. Present the picture in front of the interview panel. That is what I prepared for. And I'd given a couple of your mock interviews. Your analysis was also spot on, to be honest, in order to predict what could have happened and what could not.
Because
And
I generally get to interview almost 500 candidates every year, and I come
yeah,
across various profiles, candidates coming in from various backgrounds. In past, we did
yes,
have
sir.
many aspirants and many candidates who've done in their MBAs from IIMs. But those are the IIMs like IIM Rohtak or the ones in the Northeast or Sirmaur. So I used to get those candidates, but very few candidates come from the top IIMs. So when I came across your profile and when I was interviewing you, this got stuck to me. And if so is the profile, the panel is definitely going to be keen in understanding as to why you are interested in such a profile. So that is what basically kept going in my mind. Every time I interviewed you, I said, Sai, make sure that you handle this query, because this is the only bottleneck
Yes,
you're
sir.
going to face. Given the profile you are already in, I think communication has never been an issue at your end, because you were already interacting with people, and once you're in a job communicating with people, it comes naturally also. So the challenge is not to be able to communicate. The challenge is how do you convince people about a story. So you did
Yes, sir.
fantastically well. What also I would like to understand is that students coming in from a background like yours, should they really be looking forward to such an opportunity? Because people have different thought processes also, because very few people have this kind of a long term vision as to even though if I'm going to start in a PSB, and they see long term. So what I realize is that you've seen long term in your case,
Yes,
and
sir.
I really wish that this is going to be rewarding as well, because the kind of exposure you'll get through this job is going to be very, very different than what you would be doing in a private sector. So, what is your take on this? How do you see this as an opportunity for freshers coming from good B schools, from A category or top B plus category B schools? Why should they opt for this as an opportunity?
Sir, if you are specifically looking for, I would answer this in the context of marketing specifically. So if
Okay.
you're specifically looking for marketing, right, I've worked in private firms. I've understood how they operate, the kind of exposure that you get. I mean, it's pretty exhausting, and I would say the kind of reward ratio that you would expect there is also not up to the mark, to be very honest. People might say you'd be getting paid higher and all that, but it also comes with its own set of costs. That is what I have experienced and I believe. And if you come from a tier one B school or something like that, and you're looking out for such an opportunity, It is, I mean, it again, there's a lot of personal opinions that go for and against this one. But in my opinion, I think, see, the kind of exposure and the respect also that you would get in this role would be much better than what you would experience in working for it's a small or mid-sized firm. If you're working for a large-sized firm or an FMCG firm, for that matter, that's fine. But if you do not get that opportunity, I would definitely say look for it. Understand about this. I've talked to my peers as well who are from IIM and have taken up this role. They seem pretty much satisfied with this. It's never like they're doing something that's beneath their cat or something like that. It's pretty much in line with what they might have expected from their background, and they're doing well in their roles, although they are from an IIM and they would have worked in bigger firms before. So this marketing officer role specifically is not something I would say is a first or a spot on choice, a straightforward choice for many people. But your thought process aligns long term, and would want to, uh, if you would want to explore a career in banking specifically, and you want to make career out of it, then this is a good start, I would say. Especially if you're under 30 and you're looking for an opportunity. Again, this is a great one.
I think people who are looking to strike a balance between professional and personal life, also for them, this is the right choice because you will be able to strike a right balance also. Because what I've seen in private sector jobs, the line diminishes, and somewhere down the line, you tend to,
It does.
because it's a never ending task because there's a lot of peer pressure happening, and then even though if you wish to, you can't. But I think here the line is clearly drawn. So it will be easier for you to draw some balance between personal life and professional life. You're right on
Absolutely.
this. Okay, so if Sai Lokesh was to give tips to future aspirants, so what would be those tips and what would you suggest them? Because and one more thing, I just forgot. I just came to my mind that this was your first attempt, right? And you,
Yes,
for the
sir.
very first time in your life, would have seen such noise, such clutter, and such ruckus happening around the number of vacancies and cutoffs. I think this much of discussion might not have even happened when you must have appeared for the CAT exam. So
Yes,
how
sir.
did you navigate through? How did you handle all this kind of noise going around you?
Sir, honestly, it was a huge hit to my morale when I understood that the vacancies got slashed by two-thirds. It was 350 first and it was 100 later on. Honestly, it was a huge uh, confidence degrader or something like that. But uh, if I have to advise people on this, right, how do you handle such noise? Just cancel it out. Understand that the probability of you getting a vacancy depends on your efforts, not the external factor. External factors might affect, but they are not in your hands. You cannot do anything about that, right? Let's say tomorrow the vacancies, once again, the 100 or 200 vacancies get announced and they get slashed to 50, let's say. Instead of focusing on what you might not do to affect that, you might focus on your preparation. If you do well, if you focus well on your preparation, if you understand your strengths and weaknesses and work on it, maybe you'll end up scoring over 50 or 55. Then the number of vacancies wouldn't even matter. That is what I believe. So, all the noise that happens around it is fine, but ultimately it does you no good, right? It takes you nowhere with regards to your preparation. So cancel out the noise. Do not worry what happens or what doesn't happen. Not just with regards to vacancies, it might be regarding mergers as well that people are predicting might happen. Do not worry about them. Focus on your preparation. Focus on scoring as high as you could. Try learning as much as you could, and that is what will help you in cracking this code. Not not focusing on the external factor. And if you ask me what tips I can give them, I would say do not overthink. One, I've seen people recommending others to study four or five reference books. Only then would you be able to crack it. I, for one, never did any of that. And honestly, that only adds to the chaos and confusion. Instead, focus on limited sources. Uh, understand the concepts, understand the basics. Marketing is inherent in our day-to-day lives, right? You could take examples from pretty much anything and everything as far as marketing is concerned. You could look at ads, you could look at promotions, you could look at how you sell yourself to your friends or relatives, right? That is also a form of marketing of yourself. So marketing is inherent. Try to understand, try to imbibe the concepts into your day-to-day life. That will make it easier for you to understand things. And also, do not expect to be spoon-fed. I've seen people reaching out to me saying, भैया अगर मैं ये कोर्स लूंगा तो क्या मेरा हो जाएगा, ये करूंगा तो हो जाएगा. It's not that. Do your homework. Do not expect to be spoon-fed. Work as much as you can. Refer as many things as you could to in order to get your learnings for yourself. And once you have done that homework, once you understand your strengths and weaknesses, that is when it becomes easier for you to crack this examination. Is what I feel.
So, one last question. I mean,
Sure.
you said that you spoon feeding is also even I also don't subscribe to, because if you're entering into a professional domain, you should be on your own, having
Yeah.
resources and help getting things done through the help of those resources is something else. But looking for solution to every problem outside is something which I would want to also recommend. So, Sai, what was the reason behind you opting us as a partner in helping you prepare for this exam, or probably guiding you to whatever level you think? So, why JC Academy came to your mind, and why did you choose us? I'm asking this question only from you because, see, the kind of academic background you come from, the benchmark is already high.
Yeah.
So I am trying to understand how have we been able to add value to your preparation, if it all was there. So I'm just trying to understand how that has helped you.
Sir, I did my homework before I before I put my mind into JC Academy. To be honest, I
Okay.
referred to two or three other sources. To be honest, I was trying to understand what their pedagogy is going to be, what their modus operandi and teaching method is going to be. I felt that your teaching method more or less suited my understanding of things, and the pacing also I felt was right. You took concepts like uh, you took like 2 to 3 classes a week, so I felt that would help me with regards to the work pressure that I already had from my job. It would help my preparation, I felt. And also, sir, while attending your demo classes, I found that you give examples to things, right, from your real life experience, or from your know-how. You try to explain things from the POV of an example. So that also I felt was something important that helps you remember things easier. So yeah, the teaching methodology was something that I felt aligned with my way of learning. So in my personal opinion, I felt it to be a bonus for me. So that is a credit for you, sir. And as far as the value, if you ask me the kind of value that you added to me, uh, you were right in mentioning that I have a strong foundational background with regards to the concepts, and also I just had to reinforce my knowledge, fill in certain knowledge gaps, and things of that sort. And I had very less time to do it also. So I used to refer to your videos. I used to refer to certain reference books that you recommended, and that was about it, sir. And I've already mentioned um, how you helped me regarding mains and interviews. So that was about it.
Thank you so much, and wish you all the good luck and very best for
Thank
your
you very much.
future endeavors. And we really would love to stay connected, and would love to also learn about your journey, and do let us know if we could be of any help. And I also think that you
Sure, sir.
joined that WhatsApp group of my previous students, right?
I did, sir. Yes.
Because they are your seniors in the organization, so they're going to be helping you a lot in case you get stuck somewhere, or in case you get posted in a location which you find difficult to navigate. So please, you can connect with your seniors there. They have a lot many seniors working in PNB as of right now. So that should be some
Absolutely,
help.
sir. Yes.
And all the very best once again, and congratulations. And that's it. And stay connected.
Thank you very much, sir. Absolutely, we'll stay connected.
Thank you. Thank you so much.